Hello, everyone. This is your host, Susan Rosen. And my guest today is Dana Helmink. And Dana is here to talk with us about hearing and hearing aids and how important all of that is, which I am a big supporter of. So welcome, Dana, and tell us a little bit about both about yourself, maybe about how you ended up in this profession, and also your product, and
Yeah,
we'll go on
great.
from there. Yeah.
Thanks, Susan. Thanks. I'm happy to be here. Passionate about talking about hearing loss. I'm Dana Helmink. I am the Senior Director of Audiological Development for Widex, which is a hearing aid manufacturer. But actually, my background in hearing and hearing healthcare goes way back. I've been an audiologist for nearly 25 years.
Oh my goodness.
And so starting, in clinical practice, I come from the Chicago area and started in clinical practice here and working with, all ages of individuals, primarily adults who were sometimes getting hearing loss diagnosed for the first time and looking for solutions for that 25 years ago. So it's amazing how technology has advanced in
Oh my
that
God.
amount of time. I can't even, that'd be a whole separate podcast,
Yeah.
just talking about the technological advancements. So I started off in clinical practice, but I pretty early on in my career became super interested in the technology behind the solutions that we were offering to individuals with hearing loss, who at the time were my patients.
Mm.
And early in my career, I kind of followed a path into on the industry side of our profession, and being involved in product management and product development and user experience design and research, and then ultimately education and training, which is largely a part of my role today with Widex, is to contribute to the educational efforts and the training that we provide to both our customers, so the hearing care professionals who select our products for their patients, as well as providing education to consumers themselves, the individuals who are selecting hearing aids, living with hearing loss, and choosing a solution for their hearing needs along with their hearing care provider.
Yeah.
And so, today, largely my role is educational, but you'll find probably as we talk that I love technology. I like to talk about it.
That's good. That's good. I like that part.
Yeah. So,
So for sure. So I don't know, a question just came up out of curiosity. Are you guys, not necessarily just you, but the whole hearing loss, are you finding that people are losing their hearing earlier, at younger ages? Because it used to be, 70s and 80s or whatever, 60s and 70s.
yeah. Or right. So I think it's a really interesting. I think there's a couple things going on. I mean, there is a concern that hearing loss is present at younger ages than previously, potentially because of all of the personal.
Oh, okay. You're frozen. Uh-oh. Hmm. I
To all of
lost
the,
you. I lost you.
headphone.
Okay, go
Oh,
back. You
sorry.
froze for about a
Okay.
minute. It was very
Okay.
strange.
Oh, very
Okay.
strange. Okay,
Yeah.
so you had asked me about hearing loss.
Right.
Is it
I
happening
got
with?
the part
Okay.
to
Yeah.
where you
So I
started.
think there's
Yeah.
there's an increasing concern that maybe hearing loss is emerging, or there's a greater risk of hearing loss at a younger age due to all the personal device
Right.
use, and
Uh-huh.
maybe at volumes that are unsafe as teenagers and young adults. But I think when we look at the adult population, it may not be that hearing loss is emerging earlier or present earlier, but that there's a greater awareness of hearing
Um,
loss, and
okay.
that it isn't just something that happens in your 70s or your 80s.
Yeah.
There is a high prevalence of hearing loss in a population, as early as 45, 50, 55 years old. That's when we start to see mild hearing losses that emerge. And in 25 years ago, if you had a mild hearing loss at that age, we may very well have done nothing for you and
Yeah.
made no recommendation except monitor it and come back. But with the advancements in technology and the increasing options that exist
Mm.
for individuals to address early hearing loss,
Uh-huh.
mild hearing loss, I
Okay.
believe there's a greater awareness and more action at a
Mm.
younger age. So sometimes that, where we used to think of hearing loss or hearing aids as something only for the elderly,
Yeah.
we realize now that it is at any age. And in age is still the single greatest kind of contributing factor to hearing
Okay.
loss.
Uh-huh.
As we age, the risk for hearing loss goes up.
Right.
That is for
Everything
sure.
ages. Yeah.
Right. But now we're not talking about as we get old, we're just saying as we age.
Right.
So, so anybody who is, and there's a big push right now for people at all ages to know what their hearing status is,
Mm-hmm.
right? And not leave this to be something that we look into only once we perceive ourselves as
Yeah.
old or older, right?
Right.
There's a push towards having an awareness of your hearing in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, because everybody's journey and path is a little different. And when hearing loss might emerge and
Uh-huh.
become bothersome, there's no clear cutoff for that,
Right. And there's no, oh, if you this, then this. It's
right?
very random.
Yeah, and I mean, so there's things we should all be thinking about for our general hearing health
Mm-hmm.
today. Know your hearing status. Get a hearing test or a hearing screening. Protect your hearing when you're in
Mm-hmm.
noise. Even one single experience of going to a concert that's too loud. So if your dream was to see the Rolling Stones in concert and you get those amazing tickets too close to the speaker, I mean, one traumatic hearing experience like a really loud concert could be damaging to your hearing. And the
Mm-hmm.
repeated exposures that we get from things like mowing the lawn without hearing
Oh,
protection,
okay.
or other recreational
Mm-hmm.
activities where the noise is very where the noise level is very high, those can all just incrementally damage our
Mm.
hearing and create a greater risk for hearing loss. So know your hearing status,
Uh-huh.
use hearing protection when you're exposed to louder sounds,
Yeah.
and mainly don't wait to take care of your
Uh,
hearing health if you
mm-hmm.
suspect hearing loss, because the earlier that you act, the better outcomes that people generally have in managing their hearing loss.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So do are you finding, I don't know whether you, the larger you, right?
Yeah.
Um, are you finding that a lot more younger people are actually getting to the point of needing hearing
Yeah,
aids, whatever, um,
I do feel that. And again, a little bit because, yes, I do feel that people are getting hearing aids at a younger age than in the
okay.
past. And I think there's several things that contribute to that. One is just is a shift in the mindset. I mean, even as a hearing care professional myself, when I started in the profession nearly 25 years ago, we wouldn't have acted as aggressively for somebody with mild hearing
Okay,
loss.
got it.
And two reasons. One is that the technology we had at the time had its drawbacks, and it would be difficult for somebody with a mild hearing loss to maybe overcome some of the challenges of getting used to or accustomed to
Uh-huh.
amplification.
Mm-hmm.
The advancement in technology, which I know we'll talk a little bit about
Yeah.
what's
Yes, we
new
will.
from Widex
I'm
that
very
definitely
interested.
falls
Yeah.
into that category.
Uh-huh.
But I think what we see is that as the technology has advanced, some of those barriers
Mm-hmm.
to wearing technology hearing aids, to
Mm-hmm.
accepting that technology in your
Mm-hmm.
life and having it become part of your daily life, some of those barriers are going away.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's an openness, I think, a greater success point in people wearing technology, hearing technology and hearing aids sooner in their life. And so audiologists are making the recommendation sooner because we see the success that's there. So I think that's one thing, is that a greater awareness that we can help individuals
Okay.
earlier with milder hearing loss. I think the second thing that's shifted is all of the research that is emerging in the last few years. I mean, just within the last year,
Mm.
really kind of a revolutionary study that out of Johns Hopkins. It's called the
Uh-huh.
Achieve study. So, like the
Oh,
word achieve,
yeah.
anybody wants to look into that.
Yeah,
Um,
I will.
it's a really large scale, quite
Uh-huh.
impressive study. They have 1,000 participants who've been
Wow.
recruited to do a long-term study over the course of 3 years, where they followed people who were put into two groups. They all started with untreated hearing loss, and then they were either fit with hearing aids or not. So the
Mm.
control group did
Oh,
not get
interesting.
hearing
Yeah.
aids. And they investigate things around the relationship between hearing loss and cognitive decline, and
Mm.
specifically, untreated hearing loss and cognitive decline. And so I think what's interesting, it's not my research to present, but I think what's really interesting about it is the finding that for individuals who did have a higher risk of dementia, that was something they found in some of their subgroups.
Mm-hmm.
So a higher risk of that cognitive decline, those who used hearing aids in the study had an almost 50% reduction in their subsequent cognitive decline measured 3 years
Oh,
later,
okay.
compared to those who didn't use hearing aids. And
Mm-hmm.
so that kind of study, really good quality studies like that
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
moving us beyond speculating that there's a relationship between untreated hearing loss and cognitive decline,
Right.
and actually showing that yes, there is a relationship here. We cannot leave hearing loss untreated because there
Mm-hmm.
are effects on us beyond our communication abilities. It can be contributing to dementia, to cognitive decline, and then also showing that when people do get hearing aids, it stops. It might
Ah.
impact
Uh-huh.
positively that
Yeah.
progression for those who are at risk of cognitive decline. And so we've seen this kind of research emerging. It's getting a lot of attention in various news media, and I think it does have individuals who are thinking, I wonder if I have hearing loss,
Yeah.
or who know they have hearing loss but haven't
Right.
acted yet,
Yeah.
are thinking maybe I shouldn't wait, right? And I think that that's really what's maybe driving, as you pointed out, this feeling that we're seeing hearing loss younger and that people are getting hearing aids younger. I think we are detecting hearing loss at a younger age, and that's
Yeah.
great. I think we are making better recommendations to take action, and I think that's excellent. And then I think on the receiving end, individuals who are become aware of their hearing loss, are more motivated to act because it
Mm.
is a bit beyond just their communication capabilities, but
Uh-huh.
maybe other health factors
Yeah.
for them. And of course, I think everybody is motivated to say, how do I live my best life?
Right.
When I'm 70, 80, 90, I have
Yeah.
a grandmother who made it almost to 100 years old,
Oh
right?
my
And
God. Yeah.
living independently. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
that's what
No,
we
my mom
all
was
want.
94.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what we all want,
Yeah.
that quality life. And so I
Yeah.
think hearing loss is only a part of, in our hearing status, is only a part of that, but it may not be an insignificant part of
Yeah. I
how
was
we
just
live
gonna say.
a
Yeah.
quality life in the second half of our life,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, exactly. Exactly. And I think it's also kind of interesting because like we were talking about earlier, with the issue that I have with the bone isn't from going to a lot of rock concerts.
No.
And that's the other thing that people don't realize that there are other causes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting. I'm very excited to see recently a big push towards this idea that everybody should know what their hearing status is,
Yeah.
because you see in other parts of our lives we're monitored throughout our lives for
Oh
our
my
vision
God. Yeah.
status, right? With annual exams,
Our
we're
hearts,
monitored,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
throughout our lives for
Uh-huh.
various things related to heart health and cholesterol and all of these things. And somehow, unfortunately, hearing loss and monitoring and
Yeah.
knowing about our hearing status has become, became a thing that only happened when you suspected a problem, or when you were, falling into this perceived category of elderly. And that's really unfortunate, because as
Yeah.
your experience is, it's not always, related to just aging. It's not
Yeah.
related to just noise exposure. There are many things that can contribute to hearing loss.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important thing is that we offer appropriate solutions to individuals experiencing hearing loss, and solutions that they can accept, and
Mm-hmm.
solutions that meet their needs. And that's something that at Widex, in our legacy of
Uh-huh.
product development, has
Yeah.
always been to look at what is the problem that needs to be solved, and then
Mm-hmm.
how do we do that?
Yeah.
What solution can we bring that addresses a need that exists? And I think it's always our kind of guiding principle
Mm-hmm.
on what we do as a company. And Widex has a legacy in this. We were founded in 1956
Oh my
as a
God.
small Danish company. So
Wow.
an engineer, two businessmen, an engineer, and sales and marketing genius. The Top Home and the Westerman families, they started the company in 1956, and their families are still the owners, still owners
Wow.
of the company today. And so we still operate as, despite being one of the largest hearing technology companies in the
Uh-huh.
world today, we still really operate as this family business, driven by sense of responsibility
Yeah.
to our customers and to the people who wear our hearing aids. And we've focused on changing, I think, revolutionizing sound quality in hearing aids over the many
Oh
decades
wow. Okay.
of our development time as a
Yeah.
company, and product development, and continue with our newest product to focus on what are challenges that people have,
Mm.
and how do we bring solutions that change their lives and change
Uh-huh.
their experience and change their hearing journey.
Yeah. 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 No, absolutely. Absolutely. So just go off this way, just a little
Yeah.
bit. So are you guys doing this? Do you mostly do this through your own representatives,
Oh, in terms of providing
or
hearing healthcare,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, how
yeah. So we don't work. We work through hearing care professionals.
okay,
So this
okay.
is
That's what I was
typically
wondering.
this is
Yeah,
audiologists
right.
and licensed audiologists and licensed
Uh-huh.
hearing aid dispensers
Right.
who work around the world. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, we focus on just the U.S. Market here.
Okay.
So we work with independent hearing care providers
Oh, okay.
who can choose from a range of different brands and products out there,
Uh-huh.
and they work with their patients to make the best decision for them,
Yeah.
dependent on their needs. Individuals come with a variety of different needs in terms
Yeah.
of what their hearing status
Yeah.
is, what the nature of their hearing loss is, what's important to them in their daily lives. And so, we strive to have solutions for all individuals with hearing loss, but we work with hearing care professionals who make that recommendation and
Mm-hmm.
then provide that
Oh, I lost you. Wait a minute. Wait, wait, wait. No, time out. Time out. I can't hear you. That's strange.
Yeah.
Okay, now you're back.
Okay. It's weird because, like, on my end, you're fine, but I'm not. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah. And
tell
I don't know
when that
whether it's
happens.
yeah, I don't know whether it's me. Sometimes Zoom just goes crazy.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Luckily I don't have any teenager in my house taking all the bandwidth right now, but I, do have a husband in the house who also, has the audacity to use the internet. So
I
at
know,
the
I
same
know.
time as me.
I reset the internet this morning. Maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Um, where do you want me to pick up from?
Um, oh, I just missed like the last sentence or so
Okay.
that you were talking about. So,
Okay. So I think, which now I'm like, what were we talking about?
mm,
Um,
we were
Oh,
talking
so we
about,
we
oh,
we were talking about independent. So
right.
Widex works exclusively with independent hearing care providers,
Okay.
and we don't do anything direct to the hearing aid wearer themselves because we really believe in that professional service and care that is necessary. The hearing care provider is a
Uh-huh.
critical part of the journey and
Yeah.
successful outcomes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think it's the other thing that's kind of interesting for me is that over the years, as electronics has become more and more important in everybody's lives, um, I mean, I use my hearing aid to make phone calls,
Hmm.
and it's a lot better hearing quality than any of my, my
Yeah.
Apple things or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And sometimes it drives me crazy because I forget to turn my phone off when I go to a concert or something, like
Oh,
classical. And I don't this thing, well, the other thing is too that I forget to turn the ringer on.
oh, when you're, yeah, and
And
then
yeah, so it rings in my ear, which is
yeah,
fine. That's the idea. But then I forget. So I've been trying to get myself into the habit of turning the whole thing off.
right, right. Yeah, I think what you're pointing out is are
Yeah.
some of the really important things that
Yeah.
help people start that hearing journey
Right.
and take and address their hearing loss because we are connected people, right? We're
Yeah.
using technology. So, the importance of having hearing aids with that Bluetooth connectivity that
Yeah.
streams, it just allows you to kind of go about living your life and not
Yeah.
thinking about your hearing loss all the time and not thinking about your hearing aids all the
Yeah.
time. And it's interesting that our conversation's taken us there because it's
Yeah.
this guiding principle always for Widex in our technology is this goal to kind of create a hearing aid that
Hmm.
sounds so good that
Mm.
you forget you're wearing it,
Yeah.
and that it fits so seamlessly into your life that you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
So you put your hearing aids on, you live your life, and you don't spend a lot of time thinking about hearing loss and thinking about hearing aids, right? It's
Yeah.
part of your life, not something you
Yes.
have to give
Right.
active thought to.
Yeah.
And so it's really what we focused on in our latest technology that
Yeah.
we've
Yeah. So
introduced to our
tell me
customers,
about
right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we call this the Widex Smart Rick.
Uh-huh.
And so it's really an example of how smart design can provide measurable benefits and really strong outcomes for wearers. So we've looked at three areas with this product.
Hmm.
Um, One of them is its ability to help people to provide this exceptional focus when they're
Mm.
in a variety of situations. And
Hmm.
this is important. You need a hearing aid to help you achieve what you want. Most people seek a solution for their hearing challenges because of their experience. They're having difficulty hearing most often in noisy environments. It's
Right.
usually the first thing that's
Yeah.
noticed, it's the first complaint, and it is the most important problem to solve. And so with our Widex SmartRic, it is a groundbreaking, really revolutionary physical design of the product that has allowed us to put the microphones of the hearing aid at a more optimized angle so that it's focusing on the communication partner that you have or the thing that you're trying to hear. So if you think about
Ah,
microphones,
okay.
if you see, however, whatever your exposure to microphones in your daily life, right?
Yeah.
One that is directed at the thing that you want to pick up sound from is going to be
Uh-huh.
more effective.
Uh-huh.
And so we really looked at how the physical design of a hearing aid can put the microphones at a optimized angle, a position so that they provide better focus, better speech and understanding and noise. And we published a study in March in the Hearing Review, which is one of our trade journals
Oh,
in the hearing industry, that demonstrated that by optimizing that microphone angle, by getting the hearing aids closer to this horizontal angle, that there is a measurable improvement in signal
huh.
to noise ratio. So this is how we
Wow.
describe the way that how much louder you need the speech to be than the noise to
Yeah.
understand the environment. So this contributes to a greater speech understanding for wearers in a noisy environment. And we've also done things to reduce the distraction of wind noise across
Mm.
hearing aid microphones. That can be
Uh-huh.
something that people experience
Right.
negatively. And to reduce the awareness of things like touch noise when your hair touches a microphone, or when you put your glasses on and off, or when you rub your hand over here, wear a hat, all of those things, right? It really goes to how we think about wanting people to be able to forget that they're wearing a hearing aid, right? Really good quality sound, able to focus on the speech or the signal that you're trying
Uh-huh.
to understand, and doing it without the distractions of these other things that can come with hearing aid use.
Mm-hmm.
And so uh, you know, creating a situation where, again, people can accept that hearing solution more easily, and achieve what their goal was: better communication in a variety of situations without thinking about having hearing loss or wearing hearing aids.
Yeah.
And I think, parallel to that are things like rechargeability in hearing aids. It's amazing technology that many hearing aids are available rechargeable. So you can put them in a charger, charge them up. Yep, exactly. You don't have to change batteries and things like that. So
Yeah.
that is amazing technology. But even rechargeability comes with its limitations.
Yeah.
Have to think about when will you charge,
Yeah.
bringing your charger with you when you go places. So with
Ah,
this Widex
yes.
Smart Rig, this really revolutionary design of the
Uh-huh.
device has allowed us to get a very high capacity battery
Oh,
inside of a very small, sleek, modern looking hearing aid. And so we're able to deliver up to 37 hours of use on a
wow.
single charge of that
Uh-huh.
hearing aid. I
Yeah.
mean, much more than you need because most people sleep. But the beauty of it is it goes into a portable charger that itself
Uh-huh.
has a battery in it and charges up the hearing aid. So now what we're able to offer is
Ah.
as a solution where wearers can go over a week without having to plug in their charger. So think of being able to
Huh.
like go away for the weekend and just
Yeah.
your hearing aids are on your ears. You grab your little portable charger and you just go. And that carefree, that freedom from having to think about when will I charge? Well, you'll get through the whole day. You'll never have to worry about that.
Uh-huh.
And you'll put your hearing aids back in your charger at night
Yeah.
while you're sleeping anyway. And you could go a whole week where all you had to bring with you was your little charger that's in your pocket or your purse
Uh-huh.
or
Right.
somewhere. So again, these are things that I think help people make hearing consistent daily hearing
Yeah.
aid use part of their life, to
Mm-hmm.
put them on that journey towards a hearing solution and long-term hearing care. And the last thing, it's come up a little bit even in as we talked, you've talked about how you've asked about hearing loss
Mm-hmm.
coming on earlier or people using hearing aids earlier. And I think it's fair to say that one of the things we still work to overcome is a stigma that hearing aids are associated with old age,
Right.
right? And this
Mm-hmm.
thing that we don't, any of us want to be as elderly, in this negative way, right?
Yeah.
We're living our best lives at
Right.
all ages, right?
Yes,
And
exactly.
so I think like breaking this stigma that around hearing aids sometimes comes from offering a hearing aid that doesn't look the way that we think hearing
Mm.
aids that our grandparents wore and
Uh,
things like that. It breaking that association. And so it's kind of unique design. It's very cosmetic. It's behind on and behind the ear comfortably. It's slim, it's sleek, it's pretty invisible on most ears, but when you do see it, it has this really modern look to it, a lot more like consumer products than hearing aids.
Right.
And there can be a benefit in that as well, in allowing people to say, to break that association with the hearing aids that their grandparents wore.
Yeah, right.
And instead something modern. And
Mm-hmm.
so we really have looked at this idea of focus, to improve speech understanding and noise,
Mm-hmm.
convenience, so that people are free to just go live their lives and not think about batteries and recharging. And then, the aesthetics of a device, and how when you like the way something looks, you feel good about wearing it, using it,
Yeah.
for sure,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh no, absolutely. Absolutely. So when you're talking about the 37 hours or whatever the number
yeah,
was,
37
um,
hours. Yeah. Uh-huh.
is that just for when it's just on and you're not, so like when I
Yeah,
was talking about using the streaming, uh-huh.
even with streaming, we get up to 27 hours of
Okay.
use,
Okay.
with
Yeah. Oh,
streaming.
that's good.
So, we're
Like that.
able to deliver, without a doubt, a full day of use,
Yeah.
even for individuals who would consider themselves to be heavy streamers, lots of phone calls, maybe they're streaming
Mm.
Netflix, when you're binge watching a series, or have your favorite podcasts that you like to listen to.
Yeah.
You can certainly, again, have that full day of use without concern.
Uh-huh. Oh no, that's great. Sorry, the clouds have covered the sun,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I'm getting, like, so it's like, okay, let's turn a light on here.
Yeah.
Isn't that novel? So yeah, no, it's amazing um how much better the technology has been getting, how fast.
Yeah.
I think all of
It
a
is.
sudden the last couple of years it just kind of hit a speed bump. No, wrong way. The speed bump went away. And
Yeah,
all of
and
a sudden they're
I
like,
think
ah,
we've like accelerated, right?
yeah,
I think we're really accelerating our
yeah.
technology, and with Widex SmartRick,
Hmm.
this is an example of thinking differently, and it's something as a company we've always done, is to say, that maybe the physical design of hearing aids until now might have been limiting, some of the potential that they could offer, potential benefit they could offer in
Uh-huh.
noise.
Yeah.
And if we think differently, if we just simply say we don't have to do what we've always done, we can do it in a different way,
Hmm.
can we create a benefit? And in this case, we found that we could, and we have.
Yeah.
And so, and I think that's super important. Even as recently as, I think it was 2020 was the last, there's a market track, kind of survey done periodically on
Okay.
people who are wearing hearing aids, people
Okay.
who are not wearing have tried hearing aids and are not wearing them,
Yeah.
to try to understand what drives those decisions. So people who wear their hearing aids, what's important to them,
Yeah.
how satisfied are they? And for people who, are not wearing hearing aids, tried them, and maybe said no, no, thank you.
Yeah. I
What
have a
drove that
brother like that.
decision?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to look at that. And I think one of the things that emerge there is that for people who have chosen not who have hearing loss and have tried hearing aids and did not stick with it, right, returned them,
Or
didn't
didn't
pursue a
even do it
purchase,
to start
right?
with. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That sometimes what it is it's that, the their satisfaction with how the hearing aid they tried, addressed their hearing and noise. If that's your biggest complaint, you really need your hearing aid to deliver on that for you, and
Right.
then to also meet all of your other needs. It looks good, it feels good, it streams from my phone, it does all of the
Yeah.
things that I want it to do,
Right.
but it has to first and foremost meet my primary need, which is that I hear better when I'm in noisy situations. And I think people have an assumption that a hearing aid sounds good to them in all of the environments, that the
Uh-huh.
sound quality is good. And so for Widex, this is something that we focus on.
Hmm.
Sound quality is should be there for them. They should experience the best sounding hearing aid, the best sound quality that is possible. That's part of our DNA. And then looking at, if individuals who are choosing not to wear hearing aids are saying that they made that decision
Mm.
because their hearing aid didn't help them enough in noise, why is that? Why, with all of the
Yeah.
advanced technology, have we not conquered that, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it means we have to think a little bit outside the box and say, maybe there's something more that we could be doing. And
Mm.
so I'm proud to be part of a company that, says, where could we do something differently?
Uh-huh.
Because what we've been doing as an industry, not just as a company at Widex, but as an industry, maybe isn't hitting the mark for every wearer, because
Yeah.
there are people who have tried and said, no, I'll wait. And we know from some of this recent evidence on untreated hearing loss and that
Yeah.
link to cognitive decline, we should not wait. And we need to create solutions that meet the needs of wearers in a way that says, that
Mm-hmm.
helps them come to that decision. I won't wait. I will
Yeah.
act now because this helps me.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and particularly because it's I mean the kind I wear is the one where the thing goes up on the top and behind my ear,
Mhm.
and then it
Yeah,
goes
that
on
is
the
the
little
most
wire and
common.
goes in, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what we call a RIC, receiver in the canal,
Okay.
kind of a device,
Yeah.
or receiver in the ear
Uh-huh.
device. But it is the most common style of
Yeah.
hearing aid today, because of all of the advantages it offers in the rechargeability and the Bluetooth connectivity and all of the control that you can have for it, and app integration. And so it just meets the needs of a lot of different wearers and is quite cosmetic, with those thin wires being all that's
Yeah.
visible
And they're
on
clear,
many ears.
right? They're
Exactly.
clear. That's the other
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I noticed that what I end up having to do is pushing the top down back
Hmm.
into my, not here, but on the top. It
Yeah, to get
tends
it
to
to.
tends to
Yeah,
kind of pop up a little bit.
right. And so, it's
It's not
interesting,
that big a deal.
if there's anything that I've learned in all of my years and all of the different
Yeah.
things I've worked on, is the uh, diversity and variety in
Yes.
ear anatomy and shape.
Yes.
And so, again, I think thinking about the fact that by offering a style of device with our
Uh-huh.
Widex SmartRic that is quite different, pretty, groundbreaking
Mm,
L-shaped design,
yeah.
that there's individuals who very likely will find that this is the most comfortable feel that they've had on their ear, because that shape better matches their ear anatomy. And so again, having these solutions that hearing
Mm-hmm.
care professionals can
Yeah.
recommend to their
Mm-hmm.
patients, and a variety of solutions that target different needs, different ears, different preferences, is super
Yeah.
important overall in our industry. So,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. That's the one thing you have your industry in particular, right?
yes,
Is so people are so fussy about it, which is fine because we
yeah,
we know and I know that if it's not comfortable, you don't wear it.
yeah. And
It's
honestly, I mean, hearing is complex, right?
yeah.
The hearing is extremely complex.
Yeah.
The auditory system is complex. Our needs vary quite a bit.
Mhm.
Our preferences vary quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, at Widex, we're really happy and proud to be part of offering these unique solutions to
Uh-huh.
individuals,
Uh-huh.
and offering something that I think can meet the needs
Hmm.
of many wearers in achieving their goals for better hearing,
Yeah.
better understanding of speech in a variety of environments, and everything from there to style, rechargeability, Bluetooth streaming. It's what's important to an individual needs to be part of the solutions that are offered to them, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, exactly. Exactly. I always think it's funny that sometimes I'll be sitting somewhere and all of a sudden, like I said, the phone will ring or whatever, and and it'll start going off in my ear. And I'm with my husband or somebody else, and I'm like, oh shit. And I'm, start fumbling with things, and they're like, what's going on? Oh, the damn phone's ringing in my ear.
Right. and nobody else knows. So you're like, oh,
I know exactly.
yeah,
And unfortunately, I haven't been able to figure out how to stop it on the hearing aid. I'm sure one of the
right.
buttons, I'm sure if I do something, it'll
Yeah, yeah.
disconnect, but then I don't know if it just cuts them off or
Right. The beauty of technology is having the ability to do all of these things.
that's right.
And sometimes the challenge of technology is having the ability to do all
That's
of these things.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I just treat it like a toy, you know. It's a good toy, but
Yeah,
still,
absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah, well,
funny.
you certainly, I think, have this passion for hearing and hearing loss, and addressing it from your own experience, right? And
Yeah.
it's great for you to be able to, share that awareness, and feeling with your viewers and
Yeah.
followers. I think every time that we're talking about hearing loss,
Hmm.
publicly and in the media, is a positive thing, so that we
Yes.
increase the that awareness that there
Yeah.
is something we can do, there
Yeah.
are solutions, and they're really good ones
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. Yeah.
That the technology has just advanced dramatically from
Mhm.
certainly from 25 years ago when I started, but from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Every time I turn around, I'm amazed by how we're advancing in this industry.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the other message as well, which you've been talking about throughout this whole time, is that hearing loss, particularly as you get older, can really be life threatening
Yeah.
because people start to, and my mother did this, she started to, not deal with people, not,
Yep.
she just became like a hermit kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And, it's just, it's amazing and it doesn't take very long.
No. And I think it is true, and we don't fully understand all of the mechanisms for why hearing loss contributes to some of these. Might be associated with this risk in cognitive decline, but exactly what you point out. There's several theories. One of them is that hearing loss contributes to social isolation,
Exactly.
and social isolation definitely is associated with kind of a cognitive decline. They also talk about the fact that maybe a lack of stimulation in the language
Hmm.
areas of the brain, when you're not getting the auditory signal you can get, maybe that also contributes to sort of like an atrophy of important
Yeah.
parts of the brain due to lack of stimulation.
Hmm.
And then lastly, they talk a lot about the effort when you're living with hearing loss. Now you're isolating, and maybe you're also, when you are communicating, there's this effort in this communication that they think could kind of take away, maybe your brain has just so much resource available, and when you have to put
Interesting.
more effort
Okay.
into hearing, is it taking away
Uh-huh.
from other parts of the brain? So I think I don't have the answers to it, but I
Yeah.
think the amount of good quality research in the
Right.
in these studies, and even things involving MRIs and brain scans, and looking at what's
Ah.
happening related to
Uh-huh.
hearing loss,
Yeah.
untreated hearing loss, and
Right.
using hearing aids and treating hearing
Right.
loss. I think it's fascinating, but what it all seems to point to is, don't ignore
That's right.
the early signs of hearing loss.
That's right.
Um, and then I say to that, be aware that there are amazing solutions out there,
Hmm.
that I think can address
Yes.
the needs
Yes.
of all individuals. So I
Yes.
strongly recommend, that everybody think about seeing a hearing care professional
Yeah. Just
within
get a
their
baseline.
community. Yeah.
Yeah. Just get a
And I mean,
baseline.
for help with that, of course, individuals, if you go to
Uh-huh.
widex.com,
Yep.
we have a
Okay.
find a professional
Ah,
website. And
good.
again, we work with independent audiologists. So,
Yeah.
but that's one resource that you have.
Uh-huh.
Find a professional, know what your hearing status is, and
Yeah.
see if you need to take a step further. We even have an online screening tool that you can engage in. It's just an online screening tool. It's not the same as a hearing test. And I love a good hearing test to really
Yeah.
know. But a good online screening tool can help if
You
you
better
should
go get a
take
little
that next
more.
step.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. And, it used to be 10, 15 years ago, even, that you had to go to a hearing aid specialist, right? Somebody who
Mhm.
just did that. Now they're in stores, they're in, I mean,
I
Costco
think
has,
access to care has increased
yes, and they take it,
significantly.
take advantage
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, I think
And
access to
yeah,
care has increased significantly. More and more people have benefits on their insurance as
that's right.
well,
That's right.
either for some of that, screening or testing or hearing aids
And the hearing
themselves.
aid,
So
that's
look
right.
at, what your
Yep.
options are there.
Yep.
I always recommend, look at an independent practitioner who can offer you a range of products. Should there be a recommendation,
Hmm.
so that you're not, locked into just one
Yes.
choice,
Right.
so that you are offered lots of choice in your
Uh-huh.
solution.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, take action, right? Much better
Yes.
than doing nothing,
Right.
for sure.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. So I think that's a great place to wrap up,
Yeah,
which is go get your hearing checked if you haven't had it done,
absolutely.
especially if you're over 50.
Absolutely.
Do it now.
Yes.
So, and because there's so many, I'm just going to add this, there are so many places that will screen you for nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes. And
You
again, a
know,
screening test is a great starting point. It's going to give you that sort of pass fail,
that's right.
or
That's
that,
right.
that
Then
sort
you
of,
can decide what you want to do,
exactly.
but you
And
don't
then,
have to spend any money. It just takes an hour.
right. So just take that first step,
That's
like
right.
anything in life, right?
Bingo.
Take that first
Exactly.
step. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Well, thank you. It's as you can tell, this is a subject that is close to my heart.
As mine. So it's been a
Yeah.
pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate you coming on. And I'm going to end by what I usually say, which is that neither of us are doctors, and this is not medical advice. And I say that even when I have doctors on, but it's still not medical advice.
Exactly.
Not me at least. So, and I will look forward to talking to everybody next week.